Welcome to Apt with Money. I'm your host, Luke Madison, and this series is designed to help you understand how to better use your finances to get the things out of life that you want. And today I am joined by Apt Wealth Partners, Andrew Dunbar. Andrew, welcome.
Thanks, Luke. Good to chat with you.
Andrew is Director and Senior Financial Planner at Apt Wealth Partners. Andrew has been in the game for about 15 years now, or over 15 years, and is currently, very prestigiously, the FPA's Planner of the Year, which is a great title. He's also father to Jack and Charlotte and is a passionate fan of the Carlton Football Club. I know we're all missing sport at the moment, depending what code you follow. It's a tough time. And today our conversation, Andrew, is going to be a little bit around the current pandemic that we've been living in and obviously some of the impacts on our finances, but specifically we're going to take a look at superannuation. And, you know, it's a really interesting topic that has been very much in the news cycle. People are a little nervous. It's been a tough time for the Australian economy. We've got plenty of people that are out of work, which is really devastating news. And no one knows quite where that's going to finish. We've also got the challenge of the stock market yo-yoing around and really putting some panic in people, particularly around their superannuation, because it affects nearly every Australian at some level. And that kind of piece is really interesting to have a conversation around. So if we're looking at superannuation, Andrew, and talking super specifically, what are the sort of impacts you're seeing and some of the things that we can do to kind of minimise those impacts?
Yeah, well, thanks for that intro, Luke. I'll return the favour next time. Look, it's incredible times, isn't it? But I think there are a few things that everyone can do. And if I think back to the last major financial event like this back in 2008-9, the global financial crisis, it had a huge impact on retirement savings across the globe. And many people thought, well, this is a once in a generation event. This won't happen again. Now, I don't think anyone saw this global pandemic coming, but we've always reiterated to our clients that you don't know when the unexpected is going to happen, but you've got to be prepared for the unexpected. And the reality is that financial events like this will happen multiple times throughout your lifetime and even multiple times throughout your retirement years. So you've got to be prepared for anything. I think one of the important things is to avoid a panic mindset. It always leads to bad decisions, and that can have an impact on your life for years to come. And look, honestly, I know that's not easy. There's a lot of bad news, negativity out there, and friends and family panicking, but that's why being prepared is really important. So whether you're in the early stages of your career or even if you're in retirement, it's critical that you structure your superannuation so events like these don't define your future.
Yeah, it's a really excellent point, an interesting point you're making, Andrew, around avoiding a panic mindset and remaining calm. Thinking about panicking and the way people react to that, what are sort of bad decisions you're seeing made around finances due to that?
Yeah, well, we've seen superannuation funds reporting surges of non-advised clients moving their superannuation into cash to try and avoid the financial impact. Now, look, we firmly believe that a cash component should be part of everyone's superannuation strategy, but making that move now at the bottom of the market just locks in losses. Okay, so I think it's really important to remember that superannuation is a long-term investment, and even if you're nearing or in retirement, it's still the case that you can recover the losses as markets recover. But selling your shares at the bottom of the market is rarely, if ever, a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that it being a long-term investment. Thinking about what's happened to us now, is there some actions that people can take to sort of safeguard themselves against something like this in the future?
Yeah, I think there are a few things that everyone can do. Whether you're in the early stages of your career or you're retired or anywhere in between, it's never too early and it's never too late to look at your superannuation. And I think the first thing I'd say is understand your investments. Now, most Australians have their superannuation in a pooled investment like a balanced fund, for example.
So with that point, that's a really interesting point. A balanced fund, it's a terminology that we hear a lot, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah, so a balanced fund has a bit of cash, a bit of shares, a bit of property, and it's all pooled together into one account. There's thousands of investors in that particular fund, but you don't know what the exact underlying investments are. Now, typically that fund would have 25% or more in Australian shares, in international shares, some property as well. So that means the typical balance fund at the moment has dropped by 10 or 15% or even more through this COVID-19 pandemic. And people rightfully would be worried and wondering why. Now, it's a significant loss, but it's not an unrecoverable one.
So that in mind, what should people be looking for in this? What would sort of be the ideal situation?
Yeah, well, look, it depends on your age and your goals, obviously, I think, and there's lots of options out there, but a good advisor will help you explore the right one for you. I think the first thing, as I say, is know where your money is in your super. Most of us take a set and forget mindset when it comes to our superannuation, but just like any other investment, it's crucial you understand exactly where it's invested, not just the asset mix, but the actual companies as well. And this knowledge can help you understand the full picture, make rational decisions, and avoid panic. And I think about the global financial crisis again. You know, our clients experienced a temporary fall in the value of their investments, like many out there. But for example, if you own Commonwealth Bank, well, it went from $60 a share down to $24 a share. But people knew it was Commonwealth Bank. You know, it wasn't going to go broke. It'd go back up as the markets recovered. So they were comfortable, they had peace of mind. So you don't need to be a financial expert, but it's your money, you should know where it's invested.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and you mentioned a little earlier, Andrew, you were talking about the cash component to your super. What do you actually mean by that, having that as part of your strategy?
Yeah, so at Apt, we advise all our clients to have a cash component, and the exact amount depends on your age and goals, etc. But many people don't want to have a cash component because it earns a low rate of interest, obviously. But what it does do, it protects you when financial events like this occur. And what's more, it gives you the opportunities to make the right moves at the right time. So, for example, a lot of Apt clients chose to move part of their cash component into shares in the middle of the global financial crisis. And they were buying some of those shares 50% lower than their previous share prices. So those clients typically made significant gains as the market recovered from that event. I think the other thing with a cash component is that for those who are nearing or in retirement, the cash component's there, it collects all the dividends and interest, and it's where your regular payments that come out to fund your lifestyle are coming from. So when share markets do fall, having that cash component means you just keep taking your payments out as normal, living the way you normally do. You don't have to sell any of your shares at the bottom of the market. And that gives you the opportunity just to sit tight and wait for things to recover. So we actually did an analysis of that during the global financial crisis to see what this setup could mean, and it could make hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference on an average, say, $1 million balance by the time the event passed. And that's why, unfortunately, a lot of people out there that didn't have that setup were forced to go back to work because they simply couldn't recover their losses. Thankfully, Apt clients were never put in that position.
Yeah, that is a really good, interesting point there. So you think about next steps, Andrew, what would they be for you, for someone watching this video? What would you advise them as those next steps, and what sort of other advice would you give them?
Well, I think don't go it alone, okay? You know, especially in this market, the stakes are really high. Superannuation is there to provide a comfortable retirement, to allow you to do all the things you've waited your life to do. An advisor can help you make the right moves at the right time to make sure you stay on track. So they'll show you the pros and cons of different decisions and help you avoid the panicked short-term moves and instead make considered opportunistic ones. And that'll help give you the peace of mind you need to go on living your best life, because, hey, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. We all want to live the life we want. That's some really good advice there today, Andrew. I really liked your point around not having a panic mindset, remaining calm. You know, it is a long-term investment. So, you know, there is time to recover some of these losses that we're seeing in a very short space of time, and it won't last forever. You're a very good example around the CommBank as well. And obviously a good point around working with an advisor who is an expert in the space that can help you stay on track with your goals, so you can, still live for today while planning for tomorrow. So, Andrew, thank you for your time today, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Apt with Money.
Thanks. See you then.